so they weren't, you know, freaking out and trying to drive down here. So I got through to them, and next thing I know, then they started to give me some pain medication, and I just kept asking for more, and finally, they might have given me 3 doses, and then that was all I remember. I passed out.
I have a pretty clear memory of Charlie's wounds, because he had areas on his arms and face that were fortunately 2nd degree, and that healed in a fairly short period of time and with good skin quality without having skin grafts. Back of his neck similarly healed pretty quickly. His wrists and portions of his hands and his inner thighs were 3rd degree burns and required skin grafting.
I wake up from surgery and I have 2 club hands, basically with no fingers sticking out, because I can't, move any of it to disrupt any of the grafts. And they tell me that I have to stay still for 72 hours, not to disrupt anything. So I'm in this bed, in this sitting somewhat position. I have no use of my hands, and hopefully all the grafts were going to take 100%, so I wouldn't have to have any more surgeries. The members from the fire department were right by my side. There's 100 guys in the hallway trying to see you, trying to check up on you in the waiting room. Jason Woods and Jimmy DeGregory were there immediately as well, with the Burn Foundation offering the support that the Burn Foundation can to my family, our families. The Burn Foundation, for instance, did whatever was needed. They put my girlfriend up in one of the hotel rooms in the hospital. There was always somebody there, day or night, either from the Burn Foundation or from Engine 4. My guys were sleeping in my room. I would wake up in the middle of the night and there'd be 2 or 3 guys passed out in chairs. Whatever I needed, whatever my girlfriend needed, it was unbelievable. What they did, it was great. And I, before it happened, I never really knew what the Burn Foundation did. I knew a couple times a year they had fundraisers, a bowling tournament or a golf tournament or something like that, and we would all go and drink lots of beer and have fun and whatever. And I learned the hard way what the Burn Foundation did. It completely took care of us, anything we needed. It was unreal. It didn't take long for, to see the healing process, move pretty quickly, and to realize that my hands were going to be all right, and I could get my movement and feeling back, and then that I shouldn't have a problem.
Every time I see Dr. Jordan, my heart jumps and skips a beat. That is one man who has a passion for what he does, has compassion for all of his patients.
I feel like I am a part of what they do, and I make sure that they remember every day when they come by here or whenever we see them that they are a part of what we do. And I tell them pretty much every year they continue to make our jobs harder, because with the things that they are learning how to do and the things that they do and their acts of heroism, they continue to raise the bar for us in terms of pulling people out of situations that delivers them to us in worse and worse conditions, so that we're actually being challenged more and more and more by the acts of the firefighters. There's this whole group of guys out there whose job puts them in jeopardy every day, and that's the firefighters, who are out there always ready, always prepared, and go in and risk their lives and sometimes lose their lives because they're taking care of us when we wind up having fires.
There's no way to describe where I have come from to where I am now. It's been there's been tremendous struggle at times. It's been a lot of triumph, some sorrows, but a lot of happy good times. It made me stronger. It made me more connected to God. It made me more connected to my family. And I've just been blessed to be able to be where I am right now. I lost two guys that were with me at the time. Lou, I knew very well. Tony, I had conversations with him, and we had the firehouse battles going back and forth. The camaraderie was good, but for me, it's more that two good men were lost. I went into a period of depression after the accident because there was a time when I felt like I didn't do enough. And you always think about how could you have done something different? What could you have done better? What could you have? How could you have changed the outcome? And so I struggled with that quite a bit, and it took quite a few sessions with other firefighters, senior firefighters that have been through not the same situation, but have been around long enough to know some of the different things that can happen at a fire ground. A lot of sessions with my wife, just being able to cry and her being able to pick up those pieces. And then I actually had started to get therapy to talk about it, to be able to release some of those things because it settled pretty deep inside. I came back to work approximately 1 year and 6 months to the day of the injury. So I was out on rehab and surgical leave, I guess, for about 1.5 years. And then I came back to work and I started working at the academy. Soon went into training to get my certifications as an instructor. And within the year of coming back, I was actually out there exercising and running with the recruits and training them in the physical fitness aspect of it. In the beginning, I didn't exactly know what my role was. Being confused of why this happened to me, why was I able to survive, and then after the being down the training academy and being able to talk with recruits and share my story with them, I kind of got a feeling of where the direction that I was supposed to be heading. Since then, it has to do with burn victims and survivors. Just being able to share with them what I've been through and let them know that everything is going to be better. Because I had a couple of burn survivors come in and talk to me while I was still here at the hospital center, and it made all the difference in the world that they came in and told me their story and said, it gets better. And I've tried to share that with other burn victims and survivors as well. One day, it was a firefighter that came in and he had been shot on the job helping someone else. And he sat with me, and it was just he and I in the room, and I was still in my bandages, and he sat and he shared a story. He said, one day I woke up and all the pain was gone. And that stuck with me. And one day I woke up and all the pain was gone. So I share that often, just to stay there, don't be discouraged. You have your highs and your lows, but just know that if you keep plugging and get connected, it will definitely get better.
Once I was out of the hospital about 15 or 16 days, then my rehab started. I would come in a couple days a week to the burn unit with the staff there in the rehab center, and you know, they would, you know, my fingers were real tight, thighs were real tight, just from the skin graft. So I was doing all kinds of hand exercises and strength exercises. I also tore my right rotator cuff, maybe coming down the stairs. So I did a lot of rehab. I did rehab a couple days a week for the next 6 months, basically, until I was able to come back to work. It never crossed my mind that I need an occupation. If anything, I was worried about being able to get back to work. My hands seemed burned pretty bad. We have a lot of doctors in the fire department, so guys would see it and be like, "Oh, you won't be able to get back to work. That looks terrible. Your hands are too burned up." So I'd be, you know, "Oh, thanks." It was a long time. I was off for 6 months, so it was definitely, it was weird to come back after that time period, to be able to come back in here and get back on the, you know, the last time I had ridden the wagon was when I got burned, or to be riding with some of the same guys that were burned with me, to get back on with them. It was definitely, you know, it was a little weird to get back into the groove. You know, I'd been off 6 months, a long time to be off. As far as for me and maybe my company, you're going to try and have everything as ready as possible, so that when you get there, you have to do as little as possible to get ready. You already have your gloves on. You know, you already have your face piece, all your gear's laid out perfectly to put on and very quickly, and your SCBA's ready to go. And because of the fact that we knew it was obviously on fire, I definitely put my hood on. You know, some people might not pull their hood up. It's obvious that we were going into a fire. Over the years, you become accustomed to putting everything on, but doing it quickly. And that might be why some people don't necessarily put on all their gear. They might not be very fast at it to do it efficiently, but that's what we're used to here, is doing everything quickly. Luckily, I had all my gear on correctly, or you know, it would have been worse, and so did the other guys. And obviously, if you know, if I didn't have my hood up, which you see guys doing, if I didn't have my hood up and my helmet would have came off, probably be a whole different story. You know, I might not have made it out of there. My head would have been so badly burned, or I'd be sitting here right now with a terribly scarred head and maybe no ears. You know, so definitely, you know, I've always done it that way. I just make sure I do it quickly and correctly, and I don't have to worry about it, you know.
On this particular fire, I was secure. I had my gloves on properly. I had my wristbands, my coat buttoned up, collar done, my helmet strapped, and with all of that, I still received 2nd and 3rd degree burns, over 60+% of my body, and this was just from the heat that was in the room, not flame impingement, but the heat that entered the room. And this is, and I was in there an estimation of time from the time that the heat entered the room till the time that I exited the room was approximately 2.5 to 3 minutes. So with that in mind, fully geared and burned 60+% in 2.5 minutes. So never take anything for chance and always be prepared.